And we are halfway home here on Elimination Day at the Starladder I-League Invitational, our third series of the day to feature IG going up against Alliance. At stake, winner moves on to a spot in tomorrow's semifinals against Liquid. The loser will join Vici Gaming, Jay, and Faceless on the sidelines. I'm going to bring back in my four-man panel here as Lacoste joins Capitalist and myself to break down this third series of the day. Guys, IG seemed a little bit lost in their first series of the tournament here, bowing out to Red Hot TNC. You guys, oh my goodness. How am I supposed to even do an intro with you guys?
Not that short.
I'm testing you, Alan. This is your pop quiz.
Wow.
I'm testing your hosting abilities right now.
We're going to let you do all the
Thanks,
How
talking.
long you could do this.
We're just going
without
to look
being
good
distracted.
and smile. Smile, Jack.
This is what I would be doing anyway. So.
All right, guys, go. What do you think of this matchup?
Jack?
Well, you know, you've had a chance to squirm in your seat a little bit. Maybe you can.
I think that this matchup will be really interesting.
Wow.
Your turn.
Wow. I'm super hyped
Help.
for this match, and I think the better team is going to win.
All right, I'll take the bait. We talked about this this matchup earlier. We expected it to be
Thank you, Jack.
more interesting. We expected IG to, in the VGJ series, they did seem to find something. They found, they started going towards a little bit different identity that we've seen before. So there was some team fight combo going out there. Instead of like the hard tempo controllers that they were used to running and that maybe got banned out or reduced, they started to find a bit of a slower pace, I would say. But against VGJ, they were able to execute that pretty well. Against this Alliance team, Alliance, they have a very large diversity of hero pool, like in terms of picks, so they can go a lot of different directions. We've seen maybe some issues from them in terms of identity as well. They drafted some odd lineups on the first day that they didn't really play like the way that we expected them to. But with Alliance, there always seems to be at least one or two extremely interesting games that kind of like test the limit of like the heroes or the meta. There was that CK game that went super long. That was really interesting. So I think this series, I expect an exciting series here.
I feel like that's an advantage, right? The fact that you've managed to like kind of test out the patch almost more than any other team here, just because of the fact that you've played a lot of games, you've played a lot of different heroes. So I feel like particularly what I think is going to be very strong about this is the blistering fast pace that Alliance can bring to at least one of their drafts here. I want them to test. I want them to try and put a test on the enemy and see if they can actually keep up with the pushes.
Alliance usually loves to play that kind of a lineup that has a lot of heal, a lot of push potential, maybe even bring the Lash back as a position 4. Let's say, I think they actually played one game with it. And if they're controlling the game, I think Alliance can adapt. I mean, they might lose the game number 1, but in the game number 2, they know what they did wrong and they just switch the lineup to something completely different.
As you see the hometown favorites, Invictus Gaming, entering the arena. Pretty big cheers from the Chinese crowd as well for the 5-man squad of Alliance. This is a team that's been coming over and playing in China since before their TI3 victory. Very special relationship between them and the Chinese fans. As you see the handshakes here, both veteran competitors on both sides here. Loda and Burning, two of the signature carries in the history of the game. I expect to see the Lifestealer come out at least once in the series, perhaps also the Juggernaut, both of those, both of them in the top 5 win totals on those two heroes all time.
You guys see that? IG just tried to kill Loda.
Yeah.
Tried to push him off the stage.
It's one way to win the series.
Yeah.
They-
Same with their carry.
Lacoste put him up to it.
It wasn't me. I swear to God, it wasn't me.
Badmouth me on Twitter. We'll see what
Yeah,
happens.
I love the trash talk and troll, but that was not me. I would not hurt another person.
IG seemed pretty loose and relaxed. So we talked about the teams coming into this tournament. If there was one team that maybe seemed as assured as you could possibly be that they would likely get a direct invite to TI, it would be IG based on the strength of the Kiev Major and DAC performances. And so I don't know if that's played a factor in this, where like they can truly go into it with a learning approach and be like, there maybe isn't as much pressure on us to perform super well at this tournament. They were joking kind of really loose this morning and kind of saying like, oh yeah, you know, we're ready to, you know, to get knocked out. We're ready to go back to our team house and like practice and really learn this patch and stuff. But they're still here and kicking in this tournament.
Yeah, and you know, this team has played very well. They do have a team house in Shanghai, so you can't fault them too much. But I think we've seen this with a number of teams over the last year or two. It's hard if you start playing badly for whatever reason to just flip that switch and get that magic back.
Doesn't this mean that Alliance does it like Alliance wants it like 20 times more than IG at this point in time. Because, like, I think Alliance really wants to be able to, if they win here, secure that TI invite, and then they don't have to go through the European qualifier, which is always kind of nasty for any team.
No, let's be clear. This is their only shot.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
Alliance, Alliance has not qualified for any of these other lands. They really struggled in the other.
They played on what? WESG. That was their last LAN. They didn't qualify for anything.
Yeah, and believe me, that is it's a major source of friction within the Alliance organization. This team has not necessarily lived up to the potential that a lot of people thought that they have. Now, they played pretty well here, winning their first series, and it was a 2-0 against TNC, but they actually looked a lot more competitive against TNC, I felt, than did IG on the first day. So this series, on paper, should be very even. I can't help but thinking that if we see the IG that we've seen at Kiev and before, they have to have the advantage.
Yeah, definitely. I have a question for you, Alan.
Sure.
If Liquid's looking really strong, and if they win this, do you think they will get the direct invite to TI? Yeah, I didn't even finish with the question.
No, I've been asked that.
Do you think they'll be invited to Willy Wonka's factory?
They got the golden ticket, man. No, I've been asked that question in the last couple of days, talking about some teams here. But I do feel Liquid is kind of that fifth team. I think the top 4 from Kiev are all but assured of TI invites at this point. I think Liquid is kind of that fifth team that you're looking for an excuse to invite them. There you see the IG lineup, and we're going to see the players on stage. Pair of B-Gods starting with the legendary carry Burning here.
I'm a little bit sleepy.
Yeah, well, you know, it's hard work carrying a team. 29 years old, that's an old man in Chinese Dota.
That's an old man in Dota anyway.
In Dota, period.
I'm old, man. I'm 29.
Hey,
we mentioned before. we mentioned before that the older veterans who've stuck around. There's still that one mountain to climb, and it is TI, and it's got to be a big part of what keeps a player like that going.
Do you actually think like some of these players, ROTK, Burning, you think if they won a TI, would they be done after that? They'd be like, all right.
Probably, and then come back one
or is it retirement?
I mean, you got to dodge Ace somehow, you know?
In Chinese, it's known as switching the power treads when you go into retirement mode and then you come back and play.
I've never heard that before.
So, I mean, well, in one
look
sense,
at this. Is XXS really he looks 17.
Yeah, and his name, the nickname is XXS Xiaoxuezhen, is like grade schooler, elementary schooler.
Wow.
He's so young.
He's been pretty impressive. He's quite the young talent.
Yeah, he's really kind of amazing to me in that he's not like your classic flashy offlaner. You'll forget about him for long stretches of the game, and all of a sudden he'll just make a couple plays and just win, and you're done.
Yeah.
He's great at like with these like big ult offlaners that he got in the Magnus and Enigma. He's great at like finding exactly what ult he needs to hit to like it's hard. It's like it's almost uncanny. Like someone will be consistent throughout the game, but he always seems to get off the crucial ult that you
he's
need.
not afraid to even ulti just one guy, because he knows if they kill that one guy, pretty much the team fight is over. They can push towards objectives, Roshan, or just tier 1, tier 2 towers.
Yeah, that's what I like about it, right? Is that what we see from him. What we see from a lot of young talents is that they've got these mechanical abilities and they've got instinct about the Dota game and how to be able to play. But the way XXS plays for me is he says like he understands a lot about the state of the game and what needs to be accomplished objective-wise, and isn't just a mechanic star.
When did he get all of that experience?
Good question.
Sorry, go ahead.
Jack? Where did he get it? Jack?
Well, there's
chronicler of all Chinese players all the time.
There's also a bit of fearlessness there. It's the whole like he's too young or he doesn't know enough to be afraid, right? If you are an established player, a veteran, you have a reputation to uphold, people expect certain things from you, maybe you're a bit more tentative. There's a lot of pressure on these players representing both country and team and all the fans, and also like culturally just the sense of loss of face if people start saying bad things about you. That pressure can really get to some of these more established players, and maybe you end up not wanting to assume the blame or carry the pot, as the translation kind of goes in Chinese. You don't want to do that. You could look more tentative, or you end up blaming your teammates for stuff. for a young, fearless player, that's not really a concern. You saw that from other teams that have very young players too. I keep coming back to this wing squad. There's a certain fearlessness that they played with there too, a certain trust and fearlessness from the offlane position. It was Faith Beyond as well, like just being willing to go in and make plays on just about anything. Like that's something to be said for like a young, relatively new player who hasn't really been influenced by that other stuff yet.
As we get on to talking about Alliance here, I want to make sure that we preview both teams. Got to get back into the rhythm of the four-man panel here, guys. This is a team that came in, again, with some mixed results. They have made a little bit of a change. EGM is doing their drafting in this tournament. That's a change from some of their previous qualifier runs. They've looked a little better, I think, in their drafts. They've got great value out of a Shrek pick in particular, his hero. What do you guys think of what we've seen from Alliance so far here?
I was not convinced in day number 1. The pick was, especially in the game number 1, it was with the Wind Ranger as a support. That
and they
was
opened
just,
with that
wow.
too.
It looks so bad, but seems like they learned a lot. I already mentioned that they tend to adapt to certain situations, and they have a variety of heroes that can pull out. Loda has a big hero pool, though. That's their really big strength.
I'm not going to take
the joke. Wait
no,
me out, aren't you, Cap?
Go ahead.
Oh my God.
What joke?
Nothing.
No.
The bans
No.
against this team are a little bit different. You have to worry about Wisp, maybe some other heroes that traditionally the Chinese teams don't worry as much about. I want to see them throw some real wrinkles at IG if they want to take this serious, which they desperately, as we mentioned, like very much need to perform well at this tournament.
Yeah, they're an interesting team because if you look at them in the previous patch, since 7.0 was released, they're the second longest average match duration team behind only EG, which is a little bit skewed by some very long games at Kiev. But they are known as a pushing team. They are very comfortable playing pushing lineups. So I think that they can, on paper, transition to this new patch very well. As you see, we have our Game 1 draft is underway between Alliance and Invictus Gaming. Winner moving on, loser going home. The Wisp is getting taken off the board. That is now the most banned hero in this tournament. No surprise. Interesting, though, that's been one of the big dividing lines between the Western and Eastern teams at this tournament. The Chinese teams are not touching Wisp.
You know, I was thinking about there is a pretty big similarity between these two teams that I feel like both teams are really able to recognize certain timings and like pushing for objectives. Like Alliance are a pushing team. I feel like IG is also one of those teams that they hit a certain timing and then they're just down to go. Like burning or Q or somebody says like this is our time to end the game and they just go do it. So we could see like the kind of like rapid closeout honestly from either side.
Well, this is going to be, I believe, the third Q Jakiro of the day coming out from IG, and Alliance going back to an open that they've used a tremendous amount over the last patch or two. They were averaging like 2 denies at the 0-minute mark. That's how often they run clock in SF.
Yeah, they know the Jakiro is going to be first pick very likely from IG. Clockwork's such a value hero, I think, to match up against the Jakiro.
That's a good point.
From a 4 position, so it's just like it checks both boxes. It's like it deals with Jakiro and it gives you the denies.
Are you thinking about that combo? Boboka pulled out to Jakiro, Clock trapped his team.
Trap your own team. No, that's not what we had in mind.
Well, I mean that's Boboka Clockwork, you know. Most other Clockworks aren't going to be doing that.
Also worth noting that Alliance, so far when they pick the Clockwork, they do have a preference, slight preference to running Unisampan on it on the 3 position. He's very confident on that hero.
He's had some dominating Clockwork performances.
Yes,
just getting off, making sure you get off multiple rounds of spells, creating that terrain separation in fights, staying alive to keep contributing. He's been really great on that here. Like maybe one of the strong points I think of this team in terms of individual performance so far.
In one game, he had the highest hero damage on Clockwork.
Yes.
I don't know if the team played bad or...
There we go.
Or... Oh, there it is.
There is the trademark hero. I've been wondering where this hero has gone for them, but the Boboka Ricky, a slight nerf in 7.06, his base move speed reduced by 5, but you know, when you're talking about games in Kiev, when Boboka is leading the map in kills as a support Ricky, boy, oh boy, you gotta give a lot of respect to this hero.
I don't think that 5 move speed nerf
no, I don't think
is gonna do a lot to Boboka, to be honest.
I guess it's okay versus SF, but I really would have preferred like Sand King or Tusk or something like that as our second pick. But we'll see. Like we haven't seen, I think, a single one of those traditional independent 4-position roamers yet, have we? Like we haven't seen Bounty Hunter. We have yet to see Riki.
I think we saw one. I think we saw one bounty
from Baboka.
We saw an Earth Spirit. Yeah.
Yeah. We did see a Bounty Hunter the other day.
Did we? Oh.
Yeah. The thing, Ricky, here, this makes me wonder if what Jack was talking about is true. If this is IG, this is a little bit of a test run for them. Obviously, $100,000 on the line. The players are going to take this seriously, but they need to know whether Ricky, which has been one of their signature heroes as they've amassed the leading win total in Pro Dota 2 this year, is going to work in this new meta.
Well, if they lose this series against Alliance, they can just head home to the team house and just practice, I guess.
Yeah, head home to the team house,
Yeah.
10 minutes away.
Like these other teams, they have to stick around and watch the tournament and stuff, and
hang
you're
out with
feeling
us.
like yeah. I mean, honestly, both those things, you feel like a loser, right?
Pretty much.
I would like to see Darkseer banned by Alliance. I think Darkseer Riki is one of the more dangerous because I would feel like a lot more comfortable if Riki had a solid impact in an offlane situation rather than the more open question mark about what he can accomplish mid.
And it's not banned out. With Darkseer, IG's lineup will look so strong. I mean, you can pull out the Vacuum into Ice Pad combo easily. You just put Ice Pad first and just Vacuum into that. You don't need to time it.
SF's a great hero to have the wall on as well.
Massive amount of respect paid by IG to the Loda PA as they're banning that with their third. It's not a hero that Alliance picks up that often. But maybe IG, I don't know, thinking about picking up the Troll, and that's where the PA ban is coming in?
The PA ban several things. For one, Alliance do seem to be, although they start off by banning 2 Boboka heroes, but they also want to seem to protect their mid Shadow Fiend a little bit. The Queen of Pain ban is a part of that. And also, if you end up running that PA, let's say you run into PA mid, it's a hero that Ricky doesn't necessarily roam as well onto. It's not that a soft hero in that sense. Like if he's able to get off a Blink Strike, relocate himself in lane, then it's harder to kill. Plus, he can farm and sit back and farm with daggers without necessarily exposing himself as much in lane. So that's also a hero that isn't really afraid of Ricky in the long term. For Ricky, like you not only want to be able to roam and establish vision, but if you're playing against softer heroes or a team that doesn't have as much hard lockdown where you can just get out of that, it's tough to deal with. So I think the PA is something that they don't want to see mid necessarily.
Yeah, but this is why I was worried about it, right? You ban out, you're showing a lot of respect to Loda, sure, but you ban out PA when you know that the opponent has the first pick of the second phase and they can just pick up Troll for themselves.
What I feel right now about this patch that there are not enough strong late gamers that can match up against Troll.
Yeah, we've been talking about that for like the last 2 days, right? What's the counter to Troll? Burst damage and
OP Tinker. Oh,
okay, well,
that might be the answer.
Yeah, the IG is going to try it out. I don't blame him.
I think the buff that he received is really big, actually.
Which, the cast point or the Static Storm prioritizing
Static Storm
targets?
Prioritizing link targets. Yep. I think it.
There it is. We've been calling for this the whole time.
Yeah, you got Riki on the enemy team. It finally has enough incentive to be picked up.
I think the Razor's really interesting. One of the first teams to play any games on this patch was Empire, and they were already running this hero before in 7.05. It was kind of like a nice compliment to their early aggression. It was like someone that can just sit in lane, make things tough for like the Legion commanders and such, and the offlaners, and then just be a reliable frontliner to help you push later on. And so in this case, they may be trying it as an answer to the Troll, and it fills several of those functions too.
I like that Death Prophet pick. Yeah, I remember that one of the games you guys did for Dream League, Chappie stacked evasion on a Razor. He ended up with over 25k effective HP against physical damage.
Yeah, what was it, like Butterfly, Halberd, and like Solar Crest or something?
Yeah, Butterfly, Halberd, and he had the Solar Crest buff on him from his team.
Death Prophet's another hero I think goes well against Troll.
I agree.
Well, IG, again, with a lineup, they had similar to today. They're just building it up to one point when they just gather around and finish the game. With a DP and Razor just being so tanky. Also, they have a lot of push with Jakiro and DP ulti. There's not much base defense on Alliance right now. You have Rocket and Raze, and that's pretty much it. Troll Warlord and Spirit Breaker don't provide much once you get to a point like where you're sieging tier 3 towers.
Multiple avenues of siege from IG, and the Death Prophet as far as mid. We've seen it comboed with some of these aggressive mid roamers. He obviously packs his own slow, and Spirit Siphon has kill potential. And then if you have the silence as well from Death Prophet, let's say oftentimes Shadow Fiend, when he's roamed on, is put in a position where he's forced to fight, or maybe try to get a return kill. You have the silence that can help mitigate that, and or the Spirit Breaker showing up as well. So it's a pick that they've been running, as you mentioned before, Alan, quite frequently recently as well.
Yeah, also, DP is good against Clockwork. Once he goes in, he can just use Spirit Siphon, and he's a natural Yule Scepter carrier, so it shuts down Spirit Breaker completely.
All right, both teams picking up their offlaners here with the 5th pick. IG is going to go the way of the Tidehunter. We've seen this hero picked up much more frequently since the new patch hit. Been a little bit of a mixed bag, and Alliance is going to go back to that support Rubik. So it is going to be a Unison Fawn Clockwork in the offlane position, guys. As you look at these two drafts, on paper, the series relatively even. Who do you like in game 1?
I like that Rubik last pick, a lot of high-value spells to steal. I like IG's direction. They have 3 very strong laners, but not exceptionally greedy, so I'm going to go with IG in this one.
I'll go with IG as well. They have such a strong team fight, and with that Tidehunter last pick, they don't need to use it. They can just save it and have that fear potential once they go to siege towers with Jakiro and DP ulti up.
Yeah, I don't think they have too many answers to Tide. I think it's really effective versus both SF and Troll. Yeah, I'll go IG.
All right, I'm going to make it a clean sweep. I think IG have the heroes to get this done. With that, let's send it out to our casters. Here are Get Your Pog Champs ready for Luminous and Merlini.
Thank you, Nahaz. Is my mic working? Can you hear me? I can't hear myself. My mic's working. All right, thank you, Nahaz, one more time. And yes, we're going to have IG versus Alliance. This is a continuation of our elimination matches. Whoever loses this best of 3 is going home, and of course, whoever is winning this best of 3 is moving on. I am Luminous, and Merlini is my faithful Asian brother. I was going to call you something rude, but, you know, you're my Asian brother instead.
Brothers from another mother.
Yeah, sure. And yeah, we're going to have a very nice set ahead of ourselves. We got the draft on the way. It seems like all of our panel things, IG's got the better draft. Would you agree or disagree with that point?
I think they're the better team, so regardless of the draft, I would probably still favor them.
Okay.
But the draft is even enough where I would give them the edge.
You think IG's got the better draft then as well?
Relatively even, I would say.
It's relatively even. Okay, so I actually think Alliance has a slight edge because the problem I have with the IG draft in this game is that they have a lot of these spells that could let them chase and fight with a Static Link, with a Spirit Siphon, but they really have only one good way to lock them down to take advantage of the Static Link and the Spirit Siphon. It's just the Ravage. So if Alliance could play around the Ravage, dodge the Ravage, then I feel like IG almost is just have no lockdown at all.
Possibly. But keep in mind, Razor did get buffed. I had the Storm not having a cast point. It seems like, oh yeah, whatever, it was a low cast point to begin with, but no cast
really
point
big.
spells
Yeah,
is really big. Yeah. Remember when Leshrac had no cast point on Edict and he was super broken?
And then like the patch right after they put it back
on
cast point. Yeah. Yeah, no, especially on a hero that you cast Link to just keep chase, so any seconds of you could shave off is just more damage for your Razor to tag on. But,
and Eye of the Storm also hits the Link target, which is also useful.
Yeah. Actually, that's particularly useful because Eye of Storm also applies minus armor. So as you take away armor and damage, you could just punch them even harder.
I don't think it's strictly a buff, though, because sometimes you like link a target and then you just kill other people, because a link target is obviously going to run away.
Okay.
Right? So
that kind of forces you to keep chasing that target instead of punching other targets? Is that what you're...
It's just... Yeah. And
it's also just
it's hard to hit. Like, if you link a troll, let's say, and he runs away, the minus armor isn't going to be that useful. But at the same time, it is useful versus BKB rushdowns where you have the troll trying to kill the Razor, and you have to man up when he Eyes of the Storm. I think Razor's actually a pretty good pick versus Troll, because really high attack speed heroes like Troll are going to get hugely impacted by the Static Link.
Yep.
Because they don't build plus damage.
And if you can force the troll to run away, especially when he activates Battle Trance, I think you're happy with that.
Yep.
But what do you feel about Razor and DP against the like of a Clockwork? Because when you commit the Link or the Spear Siphon and you try to go in, a good cog kind of makes you waste those abilities.
It's hard because like the Clockwork doesn't necessarily want to go in because then you have the Tidehunter to worry about.
True.
If you go in too far, the rest of your team is just going to get ravaged, or they're going to leave you out to die, both of which are not good options. Also, if you use your cog too early, you might be in the situation where your team's going to get trapped in the cog, like we saw with the Macropyre earlier. I think Clockwork versus Jakiro matchup is pretty interesting. We've seen it a few times already in this tournament.
Yep.
He's good at killing the Jakiro, but Jakiro can also take advantage of the limited mobility from the zoning spells of the clock. So Alliance, I hope they're in good shape. Looking at EGM and Hanskin, they look eager to get this game started.
Yeah. Of course, the Chinese crowd definitely behind IG as they are the sole remaining Chinese team in the tournament.
They do have a... Wait.
VGJ got... No, that's correct, right? VGJ got taken out by IG, and then Newbie just got eliminated by Faceless.
Newbie won. Did they?
Or did they win?
Yeah.
Wait. No, they did. They did. I'm confusing myself.
You're confusing me, dude.
Yeah. Dude, that long game 2 in that series, that was literally the most resonant sleeper, at least for me. The only thing
it just felt like a lot of things kept happening again.
Yeah.
For them.
You know what made it super...
Dude, what is on this hat? Is that a Yankees hat? I think it says Yankees.
Okay.
I've never seen a pink Yankees hat. Is that a New York Yankees hat?
I don't know.
Huh. Baseball fan? That's more resident sleeper than game number 2. Baseball.
You dissing baseball?
Yes. As a spectator sport. If you're watching from home, it's super boring.
Yeah. I agree. I just want to play the devil's advocate, but then I don't have much to play off of because it is really boring to watch.
My grandfather used to watch baseball all the time, and he would just pass out right in front of the TV all the time.
I mean, that's a way to fall asleep, right?
I suppose so.
Yeah. Some people put on commentaries of me to fall asleep, and then you have baseball. So
what is Loda thinking about right now?
Why isn't this game going on? That's what he's thinking.
What's up with all this facial hair everywhere?
It's a sign of dominance. You come to a country where they can't grow facial hair, right? And then you just show this facial hair.
ROTK was sporting it. Come on.
Why do you think ROTK gets to still play pro Dota, despite his skills? Because he's got crazy facial hair. Yeah.
Does Burning? No, Burning was cleanly shaven.
Yeah.
The other day.
In fact, you commented.
Yeah.
There was a close zoom up on Burning. You're like, he shaved this morning.
Someone was pointing out who was it? The nails on someone. Oh my god, that was disgusting. ROTK, his nails are so long.
Yeah. So there's this quote unquote Asian fashion where you keep long nails, like super long nails, like on one nail. Do you know what I'm talking about? Like on your pinky. Yeah, I never got that. I don't understand.
That's disturbing.
It's just impractical, you know? Using a finger and your nail is in someone's face.
But what if you need a spoon? Okay, I'm kidding.
Oh my god. You know, we don't even know when this break will end or this pause will end.
It's ending right now, dude.
Is it?
Yep.
All right, thank you. Because the nail spoon is probably as far as we could go with that little thing. So, yeah, a lot of questions to be answered with the Burning Razor. I would imagine one of his first item choice is going to be the Hurricane Pike, right? You're up against a Clockwork, you're up against a Troll Warlord. One of the best items to disengage. And I guess if you see somebody charging at you or your friend, you could also displace the charge and end the charge. If you want to be a player like that.
I'm surprised they picked Rubik last. Rubik's very difficult to play against the Razor because if you try and steal from him, you get slowed. If you try and Fade Bolt him, you get slowed. If you try and telekinesis him, you also get slowed. I guess you can Fade Bolt and bounce off to him, but it's still very difficult to play the single target heroes like Bane and Rubik versus the Razor. But it is pretty useful to drag people into the cog. And Shadow Fiend already at 15 souls.
Yep. That is going to give OP a little bit of trouble. I just want to point out that the power cock used by the Clockwork as they're getting the rune, just to make sure that there is no sneaky Rickies trying to steal the rune, and he placed it such that if the Ricky was there, would have been pushed away.
Sneaky Riki.
Yeah.
Observer Ward placed very far back.
All right, M-Dog, tell me who's got the better mid matchup here, especially considering that Limp does have the 15 soul.
I would say, I don't know. The 15 souls makes it really tough. We're talking about 65 damage versus 82. I'm thinking about the roamers on this side too. Straight one-on-one, I think I would give slight edge to SF.
Yep.
Without the souls, I would give slight edge to Death Prophet. But with the Riki, it seems pretty even, I would say. There's always something to worry about. You have to like worry about your chicken getting sniped and all this other stuff that Riki brings to the game.
In fact, if you look at the minimap right now, the chicken is just hanging out by the base. It's not coming out right now, so regen is being delayed. And as Boboka hide on the map, that courier is also going to be immobilized. Jonas yesterday had one of the biggest clockwork ever. I think it was like over 40k damage. So I imagine him to have a very good clockwork day here as well.
Chicken's coming. No, chicken's not coming out. Is that going to sit there for the full time until
Riki shows himself? I think so.
Yeah, they did drop a sentry ward on the bottom, and EGM is he unable to get to the observer ward? Oh my goodness.
He's looking for it.
Dude, oh my god, and he dropped another sentry. Oh my goodness. That's devastating. That's really bad.
Value already
dude, what a sick observer ward. It's on the cliff. I wish the Chinese ops would look at it.
Is it actually on the cliff?
Dude, it is on the cliff. He walked around in a full circle around the camp, and there are 2 sentry wards there, and he cannot deward that observer. That is huge.
We need to find out the placement of that.
Okay, EGM's going to go back to the camp and be like, what on earth just happened? He probably thinks that Riki blocked it. Yep. Dude, EGM's still looking for the observer ward. I mean, dude, he cannot find this observer ward.
He's standing on top of it.
He's standing right on top. He can't find it. Okay.
Got it. He finally got it.
Wow.
I mean, that took long enough. Back in the mid lane here, Sentry is going to spot Boboka's movement, but here comes the Spear Siphon. Cloud's going to come here as well. The charge from the Spear Breaker. Limp, if he could get back to the tower, which he will be fine, but Sentry will get dewarded, and Boboka should be absolutely fine.
What's Spear Breaker going to do?
Oh, he's got Dust.
Tap? He has the Tango regen from the Sentry ward. Don't let him get that gold! Boboka!
It's fine. I mean, of course, going back to your comment about the Rubik, not very good against Razor, very good against the TIE Hunter, as we saw from Sioma yesterday.
It's hard to steal that, though. The thing about Boboka is he plays Mag a lot, and Mag, I think, RP is a little bit easier to steal because of the way Ravage.
Wait, hold that thought here as we have to charge through, and the Cogs, it will push back Burning away. Dual Breath does hit on 2. I think Jonas should be fine. He's going to actually pour it out here. No Ice Breath available. And now they're going to turn on to Hanskin. Hanskin does not have mana for charge. Boboka's going to come in as well. Nice block and the Smoke Cloud. The first blood will go to IG. The question is, who's going to pick it up? It will be Burning. Very nice rotation by him.
They knew Riki was up in that area, too. I'm very surprised that they didn't go for that maneuver. But
yeah,
I can kind of understand that because Spirit Breaker had already charged over there. And then what are you going to do once you're over there? If you want to pull on bottom, you're going to be so far away. You can't really harass the Death Prophet that well because you're not a ranged hero. So naturally, he tended towards the top, especially when it wasn't that close to the even minute spawn. And fell into the trap of dying.
Yep. Charge happening on the mid lane. I think this is more or less a charge out of the base kind of thing. Yeah, Hanskin.
Efficiency play.
Check the top rune. That is a double damage. So I think the next time he sees Riki on the map. Oh, wait. Is he? He's going to get jacked. Bruh. Easy. Wait. It was a bait. Sick play by Hanskin. That's how you set up a kill for Limp.
That was pretty great. They should have called OP over maybe a little bit earlier to Blink Strike over. That would have potentially saved them, but I think that Boboka just got too excited seeing that DD. He's like, I'm going to steal that and make their lives miserable.
Yep. I mean, even looked good to the observer, and then it wasn't good, as evident, quickly evident. Oh, Burning going in here.
There's 2 creeps there. I don't know about this.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that either. The Link is actually still retaining here, and actually they're following through the tree line. A couple of right clicks should be big. Jonas dropping low, dropping fast. Dual Breath's now going to go Hanskin. I don't think they could tower dive this. I say that, though. Burning going ham. Look at the damage output. Nice juke behind the tree line. Hanskin don't have mana for charge. Left him back right into the cogs and baited by Alliance. Great TP by EGM as well.
Yeah, amazing TP by him. And great coordination with the Clockwork Cog with the pushback into the tower. There's no chance of survival there.
Actually, I think that was what they did a lot of yesterday as well. Just basically using these 2 kind of soft disables to really create a hard one. And was able to actually give a lot of the opponents very difficult times.
So keep in mind that Spirit Breaker is going to be super poor this game. He's had to buy sentries, buy dust, and they did get that kill, but he still does not have boots yet on his Spirit Breaker.
Yep.
It is just so difficult to kill Riki. Like, if you kind of sense him coming, you can just drop a smoke cloud on top of yourself, and they're not going to be able to do that much afterwards. Or you can just ult. So I don't think it's as easy as it was before.
Top lane here, Q in a little bit of trouble. Does drop the liquid fire, so the attack speed will get reduced here, and as a result, well, Jonas is going to be forced to TP out. Charge coming in here, and Q will be going down for sure. Yeah. I wonder in this game if you want to take an early level of Ice Path just to mess with the charge.
I definitely think so. I think he already went for 2 in Dual Breath, so if he gets 1 in Ice Path, yeah, he can go like 3-1-4, I suppose.
Maybe like skip your ult just to pick up Ice Path?
I don't think most of them get ult at 6 anyways.
Yeah, they go 3-0-3, right? So
3-0-3,
yeah, skip your third point into Ice Path.
Max Dual Breath is pretty good for damage, but I do think you want the 1 in Ice Path.
Yeah.
It's just incredibly good because people keep TPing out against the Razor.
Just as an insurance plan. EGM letting the bait fly here, and now they're going to go on XSS. Here comes a charge. Smoke Cloud needs to be there, but it's not going to be good enough. The charge is going to hit. TP is coming in from the DP, and now body block onto EGM. The plays are there by Boboka. The lift and the tossback. OP trying to get the Spirit Siphon off. He does. The dual breath on the back line. That should ensure a kill here onto EGM. How many more are they going to get? Hanskin, let the day slide. What a pushback here by Hanskin. But I think now Loda in a little bit of trouble. Now diving back. OP, a couple more right clicks should do it. Loda juking through the ghost. Will secure the kill here. Q picks up the double for the team.
I like how so many heroes came on both teams. Shadow Fiend coming in and the Death Prophet coming in just to make sure that they had the upper edge in this engagement. That was a big brawl. That was a 4-on-4, like 7 minutes into the game.
Yeah.
And sadly, OP isn't able to get that much tower damage with the Exorcism, but still totally worth getting that Loda kill. And now Clockwork about to get online. Level 6 coming out quite soon.
Yeah, yesterday once Jonas got level 6, he was never looking back. He was between tier 1 towers, he was up in enemy shrines.
Wow, Tranquil boots.
On the Razor. Yep. Well, I mean, the changes to it that, you know, you do retain a lot of your movement speed once it breaks. And apparently that is important to Burning.
A lot of the players like the BOTs first, though, because movement speed is really important on him. But if you go Tranquils, I don't know.
Is that a sign that he's going to fight early with this team?
Definitely, but even then, a lot of people just get like brown boots into Windlace or something like that if you want the move speed. I don't think upgrading the Tranquil boots really gives you that much. Maybe he wants to go like Tranquil boots and Windlace for maybe even more move speed. Move speed is pretty important here because he needs to be able to deal with the empowering haste from the Spirit Breaker.
Yeah, I wonder if he's going to go for something like a drums as well, which is, I don't want to say a very common item on the Razor, but you do see it from time to time.
Could come out from DP as well.
Sure. I mean, Force Staff, though, I feel like it's probably the most important item for one of these cores.
Do you really care if you're caught, though?
I think so.
I don't
think you want to be in the cogs, right? Because
I don't think it's that bad, though, for him. Because then you get a free link on Clog.
Okay. I mean, it's not just the Clockwork. Once you get Cog, you get lifted into the Cog pushback, and then there's charge. There's a lot of things like a follow-up from the Cogs, which I think might be dangerous.
I think if you go Force Staff, though, you have not... It's a lot of gold for just dealing with Clockwork Cogs. I guess you can save your team, but I don't know if it's going to be a first item coming out from him.
Yeah, we'll see what Burning goes back to.
Maybe just go small items like Raindrops, Windlace, and then figure it out from there. Because we're not really sure what IG's game plan is right now in the mid game. Do they want to fight a lot with the Tidehunter and push with the Exorcism? We saw last time that they had a similar draft from like an offlaner who was a team fighter and the Exorcism. They didn't actually fight that much with the Exorcism. So if they want to go for more of a farming game, you don't necessarily want to force that first. You want something that's going to be able to boost your farm up a lot.
I think IG definitely do not want to fight a lot. In fact, it's going to be Alliance that wants to fight a lot. Force out these long cooldown on the Exorcism.
You're going to be forced to, right? If the opponents keep charging you,
right,
need
that's
to
my
fight
point. Alliance will force the fights, and I think IG needs to really reserve these ultimates, because once they don't have Exorcism or Ravage, they're going to get absolutely run over.
Not if you have Arcane Rune.
All right, calm down there. Not exactly... I mean, it's a sizable amount of cooldown that will get reduced.
How many Aquilas is Baboko going to buy this game?
Maybe one.
One. Probably zero.
Probably
There's
zero,
already
yeah.
one on Razor.
Yeah.
And no Empower. So Yules on Death Prophet, I would say much more important than Force Staff for him this game.
Right.
But the question of the matter is, Razor going to buy a Force Staff. It looks like his quick buy is going to be a Hand of Midas.
Okay.
So I think they are going to go back to the farming game plan, as was evident in their last series, and wait for better days.
Yeah, I think traditionally against a team like Alliance, they play the game relatively slower compared to most other teams. They do finish the game, average game length, it's like, I think they're the second longest team in competitive Dota. So if you think the game's going to go long, why not get the Midas? Is there a good timing here for Alliance that could punish the Hand of Midas, you think?
I don't think so. I think anytime in between the ultimates. I think one thing that they can possibly do is sneak Roche with the Troll and the Shadow Fiend.
Okay.
They probably would need a Medallion, though, just because I think the timing is quite finicky. And if you're not careful, then Riki can scout you out, or you have to fight into Ravage plus Exorcism, which is something that you definitely don't want to do. So you want to be able to take that thing out as fast as possible. But I don't know who would actually pick up the Medallion, because maybe Spirit Breaker?
Yeah. Oh, IG will be able to take down a tier 1 really without expending anything. So that's pretty big here for at least the Death Prophet. Hanskin standing over a double damage rune. If he has sight on any hero, that should be an easy kill.
Oh, they're already TPing it to set up for top. That's pretty cool.
Okay, they are definitely prepared for this situation. Rocket, though, should secure, well, scout out the XSS TP coming in. Tower is going to get denied. The question is, will we have a charge? Hanskin cancel the charge, does not want to fight into the Ravage.
Boca scouts out Loda with a DD, and looks like another tower is going to be potentially forward. Not if Q can do anything about it.
Crazy thing to support, zoning out a double damage carry. Loda turns around. Clockwork Coat is going to be there. Looks like it's going to be a dead dragon. The Ravage will fly out. I'm not sure about that Ravage. In fact, it's not going to do too much of anything. And now it's going to be a retreat. Nice ultimate from Hanskin. Gets one more kill against IG. Everyone's backing up away from Exorcism, so they bait out Ravage. They bait out Exorcism, and they get 2 kills on top of that.
Dude, Loda played that fight so well. He could have gone for the kill on the Jakiro, but he saw the Ravage coming and backed out. He had Battle Trance on and a DD, so all it would have taken is like 2 hits, which would have been like 0.3, 0.4 seconds, but he backed out just in time to dodge the Ravage and save his life. That was really well played.
I mean, had the Troll Warlord got hit by the Ravage, maybe it would incentivize the rest of Alliance to come in and help out. And who knew how that team fight is going to go? Maybe IG would have picked up a kill or 2.
And it goes back to the earlier point that you mentioned, that they don't have any good stuns aside from Ravage. They can't keep people in place.
Right.
And the 1 level in Ice Path maybe would have been enough for them to convert on the kills, get some Spirit Siphons up on people. But right now, everything's going Alliance's way.
Yeah. I mean, I think the Jakiro was clogged up, so even if he had Ice Path, he was getting battery assaulted, so... And you were mentioning who's going to pick up that Medallion? Clockwork.
Oh, Clockwork has Medallion? Yeah, this is really good for them. Being able to sneak Roche like this, IG are going to be caught completely by surprise.
Right.
Even if they knew what was going on, there is no Exorcism. There is going to be no Ravage. And that is an easy Roche.
I mean, you look over to Burning's Razor. He's buying Midas, right? Like, I asked you what's the punish. This is exactly the punish. That's why I was so surprised that, XSS was so eager to drop that Ravage, and now Bubblegum walks across the Sentry Ward, gonna get lifted, and, oh, just charged and killed.
This could be a fast game.
Yeah.
At this rate. I think Alliance have a far greedier lineup, but with the Midas up on Razor, I think the timeline to punish them is going to be way greater than IG had wanted.
There's that 1 point Ice Path, but it's not going to be enough to actually keep him alive. Q, okay, maybe not here, as the Link's going to come through Limp. It's going to channel that ultimate. OP does not care, stands his ground. They want to trigger that Aegis. One more Crypt Storm, not on cooldown just yet. The Shrine will, however, be back up.
Might be time to start considering like a first phase ban on the Clockwork. Like, it's just doing so much for them in the team fights. It's absurd.
Bottom lane, they want XSS. They know that he doesn't have the Ravage available just yet. The Cog's going to be good. Jonas letting him feel the pain here. Okay, pushed back out on XSS. The Creep Wave is going to take some of that Cog damage. Ice Path will completely miss. And Alliance will back it off. Dual Breast flying out. A couple more right clicks here. Very tanky Clockwork. Nice Cog, and he's looking to TP out Ice Path. Not on cooldown, so Good clean TP.
See how annoying he is? It's just very difficult for them to kill him, and he also zoned them out from the last team fight that they actually wanted to go on, and looks like this T1's going to fall without much defense because they were all busy on bottom.
Yeah.
And that's another free tower for Alliance.
I mean, I think the only silver lining for IG fans out there is that it's a 7-3 kill score. You know, Radiance took Roshan, but the net worth graph shows that it's only a 2,000 deficit for IG, which is not too bad. I think the more important things for IG from this point on to take smarter fights. Make sure that they get their cooldown used and get something out of it. Objective and a 2 kill, you know, something like that. They can't just willy-nilly throw out the Ravage and Exorcism. And
they have uncontested cores, though. Like, the deaths have been... There's only been 1 on Loda.
Right.
And 2 on the supports. But Shadow Fiend has been completely uncontested, I would say. Maybe a little bit of harassment from the Riki early on, but it's looking pretty bad net worth wise. And keep in mind, Razor, like 2/3 of it or a third of his net worth is made up from the Midas, so he's still not really able to offer that much in the team fights.
Well, Ravage is back up, and XSS does have the mech, so I think that's probably one of IG's power peak when it comes to, and that Creep is trolling a TIE Hunter here a little bit.
Sometimes it's so hard to stack just because of random interactions like
yeah,
that.
what the hell is the mechanic behind it? I have no clue.
It's inconsistent.
Yeah, that's the mechanic inconsistency. Oh, man. Seems like Alliance is creeping up here for a smoke or some sort.
Do they want to fight into the Aegis? IG look like they are somewhat grouped at the fight, but were they caught under an Observer Ward? I wasn't able to check it out in time. I think they smoke closer to the Shrine than the Observer Ward, though.
I think at this point, even if you know they're coming, I'm not sure whether you could take the fight. Bubblegum will break the smoke from Jonas. And the Clockwork will retreat. First item, Medallion of Courage from Clockwork.
I think it was super important that he got that, though. All they needed to do was secure Roche. And Medallion is pretty cheap. It's a 4-staff, pretty much in terms of gold. So it's not like he's really sacrificing that much. A Staff of Wizardry in terms of gold. So it's not like a Staff of Wizardry is really going to help him win a team fight, whereas IG having to come within like a 10-second window is much bigger for them in the broader sense of the game.
I mean, getting armor and evasion is nice, right? If you look at IG, their physical damage mostly from Exorcism and the Razor.
I don't necessarily know if he wants to upgrade it into a Talisman. I guess if you're sieging, it's really, really good, but the evasion doesn't necessarily help. Actually, the evasion is pretty good here, too. Take that back. Solar Crest is really good.
Yeah. So first item BKB here from Burning. I think that's actually a sign of respect of what he fears from Alliance, right? Like it's very threatening.
It allows him to just run at the Troll and run at the Shadow Fiend without a care in the world. I guess he still has to respect the Greater Bash and the Nether Strike.
Do you think this is a good game for Disarm if you're the Razor, like down the line here?
Ooh.
I mean, against Troll, Shadow Fiend.
Yeah, I think you have to. I think because sometimes you have a big problem if you're a Razor, you don't live long enough to drain all the damage.
Right.
And the only way you survive is if you drain damage, but you can't survive. So I think that's okay. He's not going to have that much mobility around the fights, though. He has to deal with Cog. He has to deal with like the Bash. He has to deal with like these hard-hitting ranged heroes, too. So I don't think this is necessarily the best Razor game from them, but I do like how they are exploring other options to deal with the Troll. It's been a menace in Starladder.
Okay, we're going to see a little bit of siege on the mid-tier 1. It won't go down without much of a fight here, and I feel like if IG could retain on their 2 big ultimates when it comes to cooldown and just like slowly chip away when it comes to these towers, they'll be okay to kind of scale into the mid and late game.
Definitely so. I think they're doing a good job of keeping the net worth pretty even, though.
Right.
The Alliance were doing
2K
pretty well.
Up.
Yeah, they were 2K up, and they had Roche. But aside from that, IG's actually been able to close the gap because of the ancient farming, the efficient play from XSS, and the Midas from Burning that has, I would say, already kicked in.
And I'm not even sure whether this Shadow Fiend could even use that Aegis, like, to take any objective. I would say not. So.
Yeah, and he's going for a BKB, so he's prime static link target. The last thing you want to do when you have BKB is run away and
Right.
not do any damage. But versus Static Link, it's just kind of imperative that you do because you don't want to be sitting at negative damage.
I mean, same thing for Loda, who's also working on a BKB after his Sanj.
And that's the good thing about Razor, though. You win the BKB wars for the most part.
Oh, is that a finished SNY here for Loda? He is. Superbly for him, yeah. Okay. So, what is Alliance waiting for when it comes to, like, any objective taking? Are they just waiting for IG to mess up? Wait for them to waste their cooldown again, or what?
I think they're just waiting for a good opportunity to push out the towers. Right now, they're struggling, I think, a lot to push out the lanes safely. They can also easily get picked with the Spirit Breaker once IGR split up.
Look at Boboka, just finds Clockwork here inside the tree line, and he is completely blocked in. That is going to be a dead Clockwork. Maybe he could drop a cog or two. He's completely getting chainstun right now. Yep, silence again. Will go down. Tier 1 goes down. In fact, they might be able to transition to Tier 2. Alliance says, we have Troll Warlord and a double damn Shadow Fiend, so let's trade. Glyph is forced out. Tie Hunter will be the first one to port back, and the rest porting back on the Shrine. Observer, please. And now we're going to go there. Here we go. Q with the first one in and the first one out. Q might be a little bit trouble. He activates the Shrine. Yule Scepter onto the Troll Warlord. No BKB just yet. Ice Path is going to lock him down. And Troll Warlord isolated from his team. Burning showing his 10-second BKB. Will get the first kill. The rest of Alliance ports out. I guess not the worst if you're Alliance, considering that Burning did commit his 10-second BKB, but a lot more momentum just lost here from Alliance.
I've been seeing a lot more of these plays where people have been scouting people in the trees. It has become super common now to hide there, and even more common to check there.
Scout them, yeah.
Either with scan or with just body checking. And Baboka getting the free kill on the Clockwork
Boboka
puts
has
him in a really bad position.
a Ring of Aquila and a Wraith Band, so maybe we're going to see more Ring of Aquilas.
Yeah, he definitely needs a mana regen a little bit. Life's tough without Crystal Maiden.
I mean, for those of you guys that haven't seen the multiple Ring of Aquila, Merlini, can you like quickly explain why that might be good? Because
it was good when you have Magnus, but without Magnus, it's not that great. But you get a fair amount of damage, and it saves you a lot of slots. Burning in a little bit of trouble, but he was pretty quick about killing those.
Ravage committed just to make sure Burning is alive. Wow, that is a very costly Ravage.
Nice earn. You got to save the Emperor, dude.
You do?
Emperor Burning. Now that there's no Bloodstone heroes for him in the mid lane, they need to resort to something else.
Wait,
Remember, dude, last tournament, OP sacrifices life to heal Burning.
Yeah.
I probably say like 10 times throughout the tournament.
We saw
maybe
once.
more.
We saw once today here as well. Jabs healing Black, suiciding Tinker for his Trode as well. So, I mean,
I think the Chinese joke was that Burning had a button to activate OP's Bloodstone.
I mean,
That's what Jack told me. Yeah.
well, Alliance going on to Tier 2 here. And you can see Alliance just coming to live as soon as that Ravage is on cooldown. But unfortunately, they're not really able to get too much out of it.
Exorcism is almost up. They have to be a little bit careful.
Yeah.
And they don't have the BKB on Troll. That's probably even more important. That death near the Shrine set him back so much. He was really close to getting his BKB. But now he's neck and neck with Razor and net worth, and still 2,000 gold shy of the BKB, at the big yellow.
Okay, I believe you were mentioning that you think Alliance had the better late game, or was it the Dire that you thought had the better late game? Talk about the scaling of both sides.
Razor scales pretty well, I would say, just because once he gets BKB, he's free to link whoever he wants, and he's usually way faster than any other core because of his passive. So it's very easy for him. He's like the anti-carry.
Right.
I think that's what he's referred to as often. So he's very strong. He can take away a lot from Troll. We haven't seen Razor too much, so I don't actually know how well he matches up versus the Troll, but I think it's going to be pretty good.
I mean, on paper, it seems pretty good,
On
right?
paper, it's pretty good. I think a lot of this depends on Baboka, because Baboka is the secondary physical damage dealer. A little bit from Death Prophet Ultimate, but that is pretty much static damage. As soon as he gets level 18, maybe he can get some talents and some plus Exorcism Spirits at level 25, but for the most part, Baboka, I would think, is actually going to do a lot of right-click with the Cloak and Dagger and the backstab from its agility. But the problem is his net worth is very low. Not as low as Alliance's supports, though.
Well, Roshan is going to be the tested here. Pretty dangerous to go into the Roshan, if you ask me. There's Rocket, there's Clockwork Hook.
Dude, they are completely okay with this. You fight this, you are fighting into Ravage and Exorcism. The Exorcism has already been popped.
All right, Rocket is Scouting
and
out.
BKB on Bernie. They are in such a good position right now. You cannot break this.
Okay.
You can try and go for a big play for a Yonism fan, but Baboka's already there to block the hook shot.
Great play here by Baboka. He knows it's coming from this angle, and the Ice Path to overlay on the Roshan, make sure they do get it. And now Aegis on Emperor. This is looking better and better here for IG as the minute passes. And now, for the first time in I want to say like 15 to 20 minutes, IG has overtaken Alliance when it comes to the net worth.
And Clockwork, yeah, he has a Solar Crest right now, but the thing about the Solar Crest right now, they haven't been able to take a team fight. You would have much rather used that 1450 gold to get an item that's going to help you farm faster, like a Hand of Midas that we've seen very commonly from Clockworks. So I don't think they were able to anticipate this phase in the game where they actually cannot fight IG. And I still think a lot of it is because of the no BKB on the Troll. Maybe if they have BKB on the Troll, they can run in. He'd probably get static link, but maybe they can win the fight that way. But without BKB, you just get Ravaged and die, and there is no damage that you're going to be able to do there. So Troll Warlord still trying to farm up his BKB. He needs about 1 more minute left of farming. And now the Death Prophet has caught up to the Troll in terms of net worth.
Right. I mean, now even if you have the BKB on your Troll Warlord, do you want to fight into an Aegis? I feel like IG is just stacking this advantage slowly by a bit by bit, and now like every minute that this game goes on, I feel like IG just has a bigger and bigger advantage moving forward.
I think so. The thing about these two teams though is they're not like huge risk takers, right? They're not going to see like some small opportunity and just jump on it.
Yep.
They're going to wait for like big smoke ganks when you hit your peak power with BKBs and stuff like that.
Yeah, Benmu was not impressed in the backstage. You were just saying, go, 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 kill them.
No, it's more organized, right? There's, I think, two very different flavors of teams. The teams that are like very chaotic and look for very small opportunities as signs to take large-scale team fights, and the other side of the coin, and other side of the spectrum, which are the teams that wait for very organized 5-on-5s, that wait for the smart smoke wraparound and things like that. Like,
and obviously, there's advantages and disadvantages to both, right? Like, for example, in Alliance case here, if they're going to keep waiting for that perfect engagement, the net worth advantage is going to be bigger and bigger till they find that engagement. So
yeah, I think they want to maybe find the opportunity where they can kill the Death Prophet before she pops Exorcism with their BKBs. That's ideally what you want to happen in a fight, but are you really going to be given the opportunity? Maybe, but at the same time, I think you need to look for opportunities yourself. How are you going to edge them out in the team fight? How are you going to take down objectives and not lose anything in return? And Dota's always a game of push and pull a little bit, and you always need to try and push a little bit more than you can pull. And I feel like both teams are just waiting for the moment that they're playing quite defensively, which is understandable, I would say, given IG's lineup.
And I feel like at this stage of the game, this is where having a Clockwork and perhaps the Spear Breaker is really starting to lose their utility. I mean, they're still decent in the fight in terms of the lockdown they provide, but when there aren't any kills happening, when both sides just looking to farm, those are not really the hero that will, take advantage of the massive farm. In fact, it's going to be IG that is sieging into the tier 2. They will not commit Exorcism. They will just liquid fire this tower, and they say, hey, Alliance, you want to come defend? If not, we'll just take this for free and move on with our lives.
That is a lot of items up on Tidehunter. Blink, Force, Mech. My goodness, he's farmed. I wasn't really checking his net worth, but he is number 5, very close to every single other core, minus the Clockwork. Clockwork is going for Blade Mail. I don't think Blade Mail is particularly effective versus their lineup. Yeah, Exorcism isn't really controllable damage, but every single Death Prophet builds Yule Scepter, and if you're taking a lot of damage from Blade Mail, you can just Yule Scepter yourself while having Spirit Siphon out, and you're not going to be able to kill people with it. So I think the Blade Mail is like really good against heroes that can't control their damage and can't heal up from it, but Death Prophet can heal up quite easily.
I mean, Death Prophet, Razor as well, who's...
Yeah, Razor can just not attack.
Well, I mean, his ultimate is going off,
Yeah,
especially if
that's not bursty, though.
That's true, and he will never link the Clockwork, I don't think.
You can. If he's in first, you take free damage when you get free damage.
Sure. And also, Blade Mail, I gotta say, it's okay at least against the Macro Pyre, so I think it's an item that's very good on paper, at least, in this game.
Yeah, I think it's way better versus like bursty sorts of damage, like Macropyre, Eye of the Storm. It's all spells that take a lot of time to do a lot of damage. Like, if you Blade Mail and sit in both of those, you're gonna reflect like what 400 damage maybe. Sure, that's not very much.
Well, we're gonna see a double damage being claimed by the Alliance guys. Shadow Fiend coming in position. We'll have the bottle for it. And it was a smoke in the search of an opportunity to fight.
The Aegis is right about to expire, maybe 10 seconds time, so they're looking forward to this perfect moment where they already have wards set up to take a fight. But IG are wise. They know that they are all off the map. None of them are showing up.
Yep.
And Lotus farming out what is quote-unquote alone.
Yeah. This is where you do the double fake, where your team isn't here. And
Boboka, look at him, already maybe trying to scout out for some heroes in the trees, but he has to be very worried about walking into a Sentry Ward. But EGM has not placed one yet.
I believe the Radiant just fired off the scan. Yeah, and they missed. So that was trying to search for Boboka, maybe trying to get a free pickoff before the fight happens. And
EGM does have a blink. He's in position to steal Ravage.
Right. You can see that the Chinese casters are showing us the difference in vision from both sides.
Even stealing Exorcism would be pretty good. I don't know if he's
Sure.
going to live long enough to get the Exorcism damage, but no one really wants to hit the tower right now.
I mean, can anyone hit the tower? Like, can the Troll just walk up?
It's just, it's tough.
It's too dangerous, yeah?
Yeah, Razor is really far out. That might be the sign for them to go. He's already in mid. He does have a TP scroll if he wants to go to the forefront, but
Nice
Loda
pass.
taking a lot of damage.
Yeah, I mean, well, you can see the problem is he walks up to try to hit the tower. He loses, like, 30% of his health. So there goes your push. The siege is not like the way that IG has been sieging. IG siege is fast and safe. Alliance gives up yet another attempt to make anything happen. And as you can see from the net worth graph, it just has not looked back at all. IG is pulling ahead further and further.
They're flexing their team fight muscle.
Oh, Burning pops his ult to farm. This is the confidence, right? Because if you think a fight is happening, you did not pop your ult to farm.
They know that neither team is really going to take a fight before Roshan.
Yeah.
It's minimum 2 minutes before Roshan respawns. 400 health, building up tanky. Yeah, wow, he has 2560 HP. That is absurd on Razor. My God, that talent. 400 health?
Yeah. Wow.
And he has a lot of armor to boot. 15 agility as a talent.
Maybe IG's onto something as the Razor being the quote-unquote troll counter, because we saw, like, once troll gets to 25, a lot of the talent that's being chosen is the magic resistant talent, right?
Yep.
Between magic resistant, his innate armor, and the satanic that you normally get, a lot of the magic damage in those late game scenarios just gets nullified completely. So IG in this game going for much more of a physical damage way to tackle the troll. Maybe this is the way.
And also, trolls have been building a pretty set item build. It's like Vlad's BKB SNY we've seen from most of the games, but it's really bad versus static link.
Right.
So even if this evolves into, wow, maybe Razor is pretty good versus Troll, then Trolls will start itemizing. Maybe you go Dragonlance into Hurricane Pike
Sure,
on Troll
that's
to deal with the static link. Or maybe, I don't really know what else you get to deal with static link.
I mean,
usually it's just Hurricane Pike, but you might have to start getting that very early on in your build.
We've been seeing some Shadow Blades for, like, more of a pick-off troll. I guess extra
Shadow
movement
Blade's
speed.
not that great because static link will still track you down.
True.
And Razor's one of the fastest healers in the game.
Oh, he'll keep up with your
Yep.
with your extra movement speed still. Well, the rest of IG will be going to the bottom side of the map, and Alliance is making no defense whatsoever.
Yeah, just free towers.
Yeah,
Giving up.
the best kind of towers.
Best kind.
That's the kind with the most value.
And Boboka is starting to get a lot of damage. He is going to go for the Basher next after the Diffusal Blade. So, well, if you can't build Monkey King with Basher,
Tricks of the trade.
Tricks of the trade is great versus these BKB heroes who just
Sure.
want to sit there and attack. So I think this item build coming out from Riki is phenomenal.
And look over to XSS. He's closing in on that refresher as well. So
Yeah, this is looking more and more grim for Alliance.
Yeah.
BKBs are,
they're still relatively healthy, I would say. But
yeah, but you have to worry about later game. Like, let's say the next 20 minutes goes par for Alliance, then they're going to have 5-second BKBs dealing with a refresher Tidehunter.
Right.
That's not good. That's not a situation that you want to be in at all.
both
And
teams.
Octarine's already up on Death Prophet, so their window in between ultimates is very slim.
I wonder if they're going to try to jump Troll. Troll does actually have the Shadow Blade. Trying to give himself. In fact, he's just going to walk into the pit here. Perhaps baiting IG to take a fight. They are taking down the Roshan extremely quickly. It is going to be a free one here for Alliance.
That Solar Crest.
Yeah. the first thing that have gone well in a long time for Alliance.
Now Shadow Fiend did go for the MKB first item.
Okay. Ooh, they're going to find themselves Hanskin. Hanskin immediately melted OP moving forward. He can use the Yules. In fact, he will. Setting things up here for the rest of the team. BKB on load up, but he gets linked up. Shadow Blade trying to get away from Burning, but Burning, like you said, keeping up the force that forward, draining all of Loda's damage. In fact, Burning maybe could ride the momentum a bit and hit the building. No.
The creep wave is pretty far away, but it does seem like Razor is a pretty good counter to Troll. He even went for the damage talent, but even with the damage talent, he's sitting at 41 damage. That is pathetic.
Yeah.
Just don't get max linked. I think they need more force outs on Alliance's side just to deal with this. They only have one right now, I believe.
You know, I really like your suggestion of the Hurricane Pike on even Loda. Like,
yeah, I think he might need it. It also helps with his tower siege. It's not a terrible item on Troll.
Sure.
But I think it's, even against Death Prophet too, breaking the Spirit Siphon is pretty important in the fights. Getting out of Smoke Cloud is also very important. So, thing is, people aren't used to playing against Razor nowadays. Razor has just been forgotten for quite a few patches now.
Yeah. I don't even know when's the last time I've seen Razor. But right now, Burning is making it work. It is 7-6 here, one of the most action-packed game I've seen in a while. And both teams going hard on the creeps. That 1 minute respawn timer on all the neutral camps, pretty good stuff.
Gotta practice your farming, dude.
What a time to be alive right now.
Not for neutrals.
Oh, man.
Not for neutrals.
All right, here comes a Tier 2 siege up top here, and I don't think IG is interested to fight this one, considering that Aegis is still available on Limp. MKB here for Limp. I guess he's mostly looking to tackle Solar Cresses from the other side, or am I missing something?
Yeah, deal with Solar Crest,
Cloud.
Smoke Cloud.
Yeah, Smoke Cloud.
Potential Butterfly from Razor. It's a pretty common build from him, but it looks like he is going to go for Armor, which I think is way wiser than a Butterfly this game. So Razor does continue to scale pretty well, even past 25. You mentioned like the scaling versus scaling, but I think he's even more of an anti-carry right now because of his level 25 talent. Plus 14 static damage.
What is the other option?
Plus 175 attack range. I think you definitely take the drain here because your main goal is to limit the
He's
troll's
picked
output.
to be a counter carry, right? So
yes.
Yeah, he's not looking
and
to.
he should be played like one, I think, in this game.
Right.
You're not going to be right-clicking that much. You're just here to make the troll useless while doing some damage in the meantime.
Right.
Well,
when you do right-click, you're just finishing the fight in your advantage. That's kind of the goal.
Or if someone just is standing too close to you.
Right.
So Silver Edge on Troll. Silver Edge, pretty decent to break the tide, I would say. Maybe you can stun lock him.
Maybe you could break the Razor passive. Are you ever interested about that?
That is not terribly great.
Not the one you want to break.
I think it's way more important to break the Tide Hunter.
Okay, and
so
try to kill him.
Ravage, yeah.
But
it's hard because he has Blink.
Yeah.
Right? He's just going to Blink and Ravage. But even without it, you still do a lot more damage. Like, even breaking the Kraken Shell for the minus damage part is pretty good. Minus 48 damage block, we're doing 48 more damage per hit. It's like a relic.
There's a gem on the Clockwork. This has got to be one of the least action that a clock has gotten for a while. So maybe you don't first ban Clockwork against Lions, because this seems to be a very good way to deal with it. Just slow down the game.
The early game would have been a lot better though had the clock not been in the game. I think they would have been able to push a lot more towers and a lot more swiftly. But yeah, IG also could have done a better job contesting Roche and scouted out a little bit more. That's another thing that Clockwork gives you is the Roche scout without sacrificing your body. I think that's a very underrated aspect of any hero, being able to scout out Roshan.
I mean, we saw Boboga trying to scout the Roche one of these times, and there was a Sentry Ward, and he just got punished. So
the body check is risky. That casual Mango from XSS, preparing for that refresher play.
So Burning's going for Aghanim Scepter, which is not an item we've seen in a while, but that's some building damage if you're interested. A lot more minus armor as well as lightning strikes. And of course,
I think it's
very
really
tanky
good
as
for
well.
drawn out fights.
Yeah.
I think the fights are going to be pretty long for both of these teams. There's no way for Alliance to just completely eliminate a hero. I guess maybe if you get a Rekko on a hero, but with BKB, it's very unlikely. And with the way that Razor's built with mass HP and armor, he's not going to die very quickly at all. So he can get a lot of mileage out of his Eye of the Storm, and it will help for sieging, as you mentioned.
Yep.
Baboka up in front with the Haste Rune.
Now, as we were painting the picture of this game, it does feel like IG does have the kind of the fighting advantage when it comes to 5v5, but will there be a scenario where the fight goes so long that you outlast the Eye of the Storm, you outlast the Exorcism? Like, can Alliance position themselves in such a way to draw that kind of fight?
With Force Stabs, I think they can. If you just mass Force Stab out of the fight, there's not really a good way for IG to catch you.
Apart from the Ravages. Yeah. If you somehow could dodge or survive those Ravages, maybe activate your BKB in a good time. But
yeah, or force that people out from the BKB or from the Ravage, or spell steal it, let's say. But yeah, it's going to be a tall order, I would say, to deal with the Ravage in that regard. So Tidehunter, what about his talents? He has not gotten to 25 yet, but he is on the way. His level 15 talent, he got 35% XP gain, so he is looking to get that. I would say 20% cooldown reduction is way better than Gush armor. And it's usually the talent of choice for Tidehunter.
Interestingly, Ice earlier today, he took the 6 mana regen.
6 mana regen is important, especially when you're spamming Gush like that.
Yeah, he was gushing out nonstop. And I was actually, hold that thought here, because we might have a big fight breaking out into the Shrine of Alliance. This is Kalki. Will it work out? Boboka, first one here in there. Blade Mail activated on Hanskin. Nice Ice Path here. He was looking to charge out here. The silence on top of Hanskin. Hanskin, the first one to go down. It's going to be a 5v4, and IG did not expend any big ultimates for that one at all.
So the smokes have been very systematic for both teams. You wait for the Aegis to expire or right after it expires, or you wait for right before Roshan spawns, and then you go for a big play. And Alliance did have to use their Shrine at that particular moment, even though it didn't really do anything for it. A Spirit Breaker. And a Spirit Breaker, not a crucial point of Alliance's lineup right now. He's more so there for scouting and maybe disabling people through BKB for a little bit, but his net worth is so incredibly low right now that it's not terribly important that he stays alive for Alliance.
Maybe Empowering Haze has some utility when it comes to movement speed for your team, but I think it might not be, doesn't matter if you're Empowering Haze if your whole team's ravaged. Ooh, Loda running forward.
That was a little weird.
I guess that is really 2 ships at the night.
So he's going for Lincoln's. Lincoln's does not block Static Link.
Well,
I'm pretty sure about that. I'm not 100% positive.
You do the looking up on that one.
I'm almost positive.
I think you're correct.
Yeah. Which is not good. That's not good for Loda. Does it block anything else? I guess it blocks Spirit Siphon.
It blocks. I mean, there's more Spirit Siphon coming. Let me tell you that.
Yeah. It's not looking good for them.
Did you get the confirmation whether it does block or not block?
But I am curious to see why he did get it. Yeah, I don't think it blocks it, but I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure it doesn't. Static Link is one of the weirdest spells in the game. It like tracks Invis, it goes through BKB, it doesn't get blocked by Lincoln's.
Bogoba courts in here, eats a Shadow Fiend ultimate, and back line here, 3-man silenced by OP. They found themselves a Clockwork. Clockwork activates the Blade Mail, and like you so aptly pointed out, it's not a very good item as both the cores never stops attacking and just kills the little machine. Exorcism was committed, and whoa, Rabbit's gonna come out here. Loda trying to farm some Ancients, and he just goes down. Hansen goes invis, but I think they have detection for him. Yeah, Hanskin will be going down as well. 3 dead here. 2 buybacks are available on lines, but I don't think IG care. IG, they have the Aghanim Scepter, Eye of the Storm, and look at that tower go down. Oh yeah, that tower will go down fast. Glyph as well as buyback coming out here. Loda reserving his buyback for now, perhaps waiting for a good hook in. They know that there is no Ravage. Just kidding, XXS does have the refresher, so Ravage is back on the menu. And IG is burning this tower down rather quickly. Buyback from the Troll Warlord. Nice BKB here from Limp. They're moving forward, trying to get any kind of pickup, but IG just, whoa, no, looking to disengage. Defensive Force Staff will come out here. Loda moving forward. He's got to be careful of the Ravage. BKB activated and baited out.
Uh-oh. That's completely wasted BKB for him.
I mean, you got a Ravage. You could go back to Roche. They have no BKBs left.
Yep, Roche looks to be pretty free for them. There's a cheese on Death Prophet. She's also very tanky. She has Solar Crest and Shiva, so 29 armor. She's going to be lifestealing a ton, and she can just beat her front line without really that much of a care in the world. And IG looking to gain the high ground already. Oh, God!
Ravage again, exact same spot here. Force on the low ground, Force all everywhere. Great charge by Hanskin here, backing his team up a little bit, but the question is, will he go down, TP out? Not going to make it. Yule Scepter on EGM, on the run, trying to make some spell seals happen, but nah, nothing is going to save him from there. The same spot, the same Ravage, and that ward, these wards that the Chinese observer is pointing out, perfect.
So yeah, IG are just waiting for that perfect moment. They go into the place where they have vision. I really do like how they wanted to take the high ground before Alliance could go there, because Alliance, they have to contest Roche at this point. 2 cheeses and the Aegis, good luck with defending against that with these big ultimates from them. And right now, IG, they have so many options available to them. They can farm more if they want to. They can wait for the cooldown on the double Ravage, or they can just threaten some high ground siege right now.
Sure. But I mean, they have all, like, they could do whatever they want at this point. Yep. Again, that last Roshan, Boboka on the far left, barely off camera, was blocking the hook in the case that Jonas wants to make a big play. And Burning is going for a refresh orb, I believe. He was the original Disco Pony before Leshrac took that title, because she had 2 Lightning Storm going on.
Yeah, Epilepsy Pony, man.
That was some crazy stuff.
Double statically is, I would say, even close to maybe perhaps more important than the it depends on how the team fight goes. Like, if you can actually get 2 static link offs, then it's going to be pretty good. If you're just looking to straight siege high ground, then yeah, double refresher or double Eye of the Storm is going to be better.
Be the Oprah of static links. One for Tro, one for Shadow Fiend.
That'd be good.
Yeah.
Especially combined with his level 25 talent. Oh my God, that would be so much.
I mean, assuming that they're actually alive in these fights, because so far the Ravages are just on point. And whenever they connect with a 2-man Ravage or 3-man Ravage, the team fight is almost instantaneously over.
Yep. So you can steal, what, 336 damage times 2? You could theoretically be hitting for triple Rapier territory.
Okay, seems okay.
Not triple Rapier, 2.5 Rapiers. Only 2.5. And, of course, they're down in the dumps, 300 damage.
Yeah, only. Illusion. So earlier when we were watching that long newbie versus faceless game, IG was in the room. They were also watching.
They fell asleep.
They were, but when they were awake, XSS was very oh, Exorcism Steal? Okay, that's pretty good start here. EGM, perhaps making some play. Troll Warlord is in the fight right now and actually push Burning back. Burning further in the base, now gets bounced around here. Aegis will trigger her. OP will stand on the front line now for the Team Blimp, activating his ultimate. And of course, EGM on the back line. Is that his Exorcism? I believe that is going to be the case.
They don't have BKBs for double
now
Ravage.
refresh on Burning, and Burning activating a second Lightning Storm. Oh my goodness. Look at the building just absolutely melt. Burning, I do believe, yet has another BKB if he wants to activate it.
Please don't chase this Alliance.
Okay, they want to fight into it. Ravage going to be good. Oh no, EGM blink into the Ravage. The second Ravage going to be there as well. They all get absolutely destroyed by IG. And now blinking forward is XXS. And again, that Lightning Storm is still going on Burning. 4-0 here for Hanskin, and GG will come out from Alliance. What a Game 1 performance from Invictus Gaming.
That is how you counter a troll. So I think that was probably the majority of this game, I would say, just because it was such a big farm fest, and Alliance thought that they would have the better late game with a farmed troll, and IG thought they would have a better late game with a farmed Razor. And clearly IG, the troll did very little damage. If I can check perhaps how much damage was done in that game. Troll did 7,000 damage. That's really low. Burning did 13,000. There wasn't that much fighting to begin with, but at the same time you could see how he was just running away most of the time. It's not good as a troll. You don't want to be running away.
I agree definitely with you with the big picture. Like Troll versus Razor, not the matchup you want. But talk to me about...
you itemize differently.
Right, with the Hurricane Pike. But talk to me about Clockwork and Spiritbreaker. Like, Alliance wanted a high-tempo game.
Yeah.
Was it IG just playing well, dodging all the fights? Like, just, we have Ravage. You can't come into us.
Yeah, I think they had to play a lot earlier and faster because they did get the first Roche, but then if you wait too long, IG are just going to have these refreshments, these like huge team fight ultimates. Spirit Breaker and Clockwork are both awful at team fighting. You're dealing with like Death Prophet and
they just
Tide
want to
Hunter.
pick off people, but there was never anybody to
like
pick off.
they want to deal with Baboka. Baboka wasn't the issue.
Yeah. Well, the panel definitely made the prediction that IG was going to take the victory. They are correct. So let me send it back to the panel so they could stretch your EP in a little bit, talking about why they're always correct. Back to you guys, Nahas.
Welcome back to our Starlighter I-League Invitational panel, as no better time to stretch it out. 4 for 4, gentlemen. We predicted that game correctly, although it was not easy for IG. And that Razor game, Burning came into this actually 8-12, 8 wins, 12 losses in his storied career on the Razor. But this is why I didn't want to jump to conclusions about 7.06. Troll Warlord looked really good early in this patch, continues to. Razor might be the counter.
Could be, could be. It seems like IG did a very admirable job of controlling that game. You know, every single time I kind of felt like I would look at the game timer and be like, oh, this is stretching on a little bit, but they just kept on like knocking Alliance down like every single time. Every single time I felt like maybe the game was stretching out too long, they would get a key kill on like maybe it was the troll, maybe it was a different core, and they would just be like, okay, kind of like kept them in check and just built that advantage until they finally decided, okay, time to end the game. I feel like that's what IG, that's kind of their style, right? They build and build and build, and then boom, end.
The game was kind of pretty even until one point. Alliance even got the Roche and the Cheese, and they still couldn't find the fight. There was 2 4-steps, 1 pike on side of IG, and they really couldn't fight into that. They had no lockdown, and they couldn't fully commit into that because of Tide Hunter. And I don't know, as Cap said, IG is just building up to that one point. They decide it's time to end the game right now. We already seen that before, and they build it in the same lineup, kind of a push lineup, and that have a high building damage, and then it's just over.
Jonas Samban did it again?
Again?
Yeah, no, man, that's
that.
just absolutely crazy. I mean, the impact that he's able to have in that hero. There's a reason that they're taking it first. Yeah, indeed. That's crazy.
In terms of damage output, so there are some heroes where you have small sources of intermittent damage, and that really adds up over time. I think Clockwork is one of them. Venomancer is another good example. Zeus, heroes like that end up with high damage levels over the course of the game, but it's a question of of how the fights go. So I feel like at some points in this game, there's almost a curious passivity from Alliance. A little bit like the first game of this tournament that we saw, where they had that Undying Wind Ranger lineup, and it was kind of like, you guys need to fight. You guys need to sow some chaos. And in this game, it felt that way. Like we had a very low kill count, I think, at 30 minutes. A couple times they saw that there's disadvantage in continuing the engagement. They weren't able to fight that. But at the same time, they must have recognized that going further into this game, when you have that big control from the Tide and the 2 ults and just how much that sets up for the team, they wouldn't necessarily be at an advantage either. So I feel like they had to kind of push the pace a little bit. Razor is a hero that, among the weaknesses, doesn't farm very well. So he is strong in these early fights, but if you're able to take good engagements and he falls behind or doesn't farm, he doesn't recover and ends up feeling kind of useless. That situation never really came. He seemed to have a pretty comfortable game, just building up one item at a time, and there didn't seem to be much pressure or urgency on IG this game.
I feel like Alliance had to risk it a bit to actually win the game. There was a Midas on Razor, and they might try to punish that.
Yeah, I think this was a point that our casters made at a couple times during the game, that Loda was off to a very nice start in that game, but had a death by a shrine, and that set his BKB timing back. And I felt like at that point, if he'd gotten that BKB 2 or 3 minutes earlier, they still would have been within that window where you could punish Razor for going Midas. As it was, it felt like they waited for Loda to get his BKB before they were ready to fight, and by the time he had that item up, it was just a little bit too late for them to take those big engagements.
But this is really low damage. I mean, it's 9k damage on Troll Warlord. That's not what you see when people are picking Troll. Also, that 24k damage on Clockwork, that's also nah. I mean, when team is pushing as 4 or 5, you just use a rocket, and that's a lot of damage counted to Clockwork.
I think one of the coolest rotations that IG pulled out was when they were pushing the tier 2 at top lane. And Alliance responded with a double damage SF pushing out the bottom tier 2. And the way they kind of set that up, I think, was really smart. They TP'd the Tide to the Tier 2, and the Jakiro TP'd to the Shrine very early on ahead of everyone else. And then they just all funneled into the Shrine immediately afterwards. They kind of backed away from the Tier 2, got off map, and then all funneled into the Shrine. And that was one of those key kills you were talking about against the Troll. It was like things like that I feel like as a team, I don't know if it's like Burning or Q, or I feel like there's some sort of experienced leader who is making very smart calls on rotations that
might
open
be burning,
up opportunities.
It might be Burning.
Yeah, I don't know.
Sure
I mean, he's only been around for so long. Maybe
hey,
he's only just now given his voice or something.
I mean, don't forget, Q took a team to the TI5 Grand Final. You know, that's not the bad shot caller either. All right, guys. Well, Game 1 is in the books. IG are up 1-0 in this series. Alliance need a win in Game 2 to keep their tournament hopes alive. We're going to take a 5-minute break. We will be right back with Game 2 of our third series of the day.